And it was like the perfect mentorship. Sunny to Hope, like passing the baton. Right there, it gives me chills talking about it.
And so she was just such an incredible woman, and I think so many people have tried to continue on carrying her legacy, and they've done a great job. There's just so many women that can try to continue on.
Thanks to Sunny, today women's polo is the fastest growing sector in polo in the U.S.
There is no women's polo without Sunny Hale. What she did for the sport on and even off of the field is incredible. And she was the only female American polo player to reach a 10-goal status until now.
Sunny Hale, in the women's polo in the world, in my opinion, Sunny Hale is she was the benchmark pinnacle. You know, she was the meteor of brightness. She represents the benchmark of where women should be reaching to achieve.
Sunny Hale's entire life was horses and polo, and she grew up around really, really strong women as well. Her mom, Sue Sally Hale, was one of the original pioneers of women's polo. She was one of the first female members of the United States Polo Association. So probably would have been really easy for Sunny to just ride her mom's coattails, but she didn't. She started carving out this legacy of her own.
No, Sunny Hale, any girl that plays women's polo grew up looking at her and just admiring her and watching her pave the way for women's polo.
She's the only woman pro to ever win the US Open in the history of polo in the United States. In the year 2000, which was 23 years ago, she won with Adolfo Cambiaso, Lola Castagnola, and Phil Heatley.
Adolfo Cambiaso is one of the best polo players of all time, and he's actually the one who chose Sunny to play on that team. And Tim Gannon, who is the owner of the team, supported that decision because he had faith in Sunny too. This was also during a time where it was rare to see a woman competing in the US Open. That win put her on the map in such a major way. I mean, she shattered this notion that the US Open should only be won by men. She ended up becoming the highest rated American female polo player in the world.
And not only was she a pioneer for the women's polo and really just paved the way and allowed it to really be more okay for women to become professionals, but she was always so incredibly kind to me.
The quality of her character exceeded most human beings on this planet, and she never boasted about it. She never once, thought of herself as the best. She was very humble. She would give people advice on the other team and how they could improve their game. Sometimes they'd beat her, and she would smile and shake their hand. Hey, you played really well. You made that play work. That was her essence. That was her spiritual being. She was really working at trying to get women involved in the game. She's the one that came up with the Women's Championship Tournament and created that idea that the more tournaments available for women to play, the more chances they get to play, then the better they will be. And when Sunny Hale was starting her Women's Championship Tournament in 2006, there were 22% women members. Now there are 40. And we may be exceeding that, so we're pushing to 50% membership of the United States Polo Association.
And I think so many people have tried to continue on carrying her legacy, and they've done a great job. You have Melissa Ganzi, you have Dawn Jones, there's just so many women that can try to continue on.
The youngest one is the most curious. Ever since I was little, I had always wanted to be as good as Sunny. And when I got older, what she started down with the WCT and what she did for women's polo was hugely inspiring. And I wanted to bring an aspect of what she started for women's polo to Canada. It has turned into a tournament where we not only empower women in the sport, but also young women in the sport.
She was a role model for so many people, not just little girls or women, or for men too.
I was a super picky eater growing up, and my dad was always like, you know, finish that last piece of steak so you get as strong as Sunny Hale, and you know, things like that. So like, those are people that you look up to.
I definitely admire her a tremendous amount. I remember being a little girl and her helping me out.
I got a call from Sunny Hale. The next year we were going to play in the Women's U.S. Open. No, we were going to play in the U.S. Open in 2016. And she called me up and said, hey, Dawn, I want to put this team together. I got Hope Arellano. She's only 13, but she's this dynamo. She's the next 10-goal women's player. She's going to be 10 goals in women's handicap. She will. She's only 13. I'm like, Sunny, are you out of your mind? Man, these women are hitting so hard out there. You got a 13-year-old that's just like, you know, she's a little spaghetti string. Are you kidding me? And I said, I don't think I'm ready for that. And Sunny demurred, like, okay, all right. But, you know, I wasn't prepared yet. And sadly, Sunny Hale died that next year. I didn't even know she was sick. Hardly anyone knew. I don't think maybe one person on the planet knew other than herself. That's the way she wanted to leave this earth, you know? And didn't want to burden anybody. But what she left with Hope is she praised Hope at the age of 13 and even younger. There are many pictures of her and Hope together when she's at these women's championship tournaments learning as a young kid. And it was like the perfect mentorship. Sunny to Hope, like passing the baton. Right there, it gives me chills talking about it. I almost want to cry. Because Sunny passed that baton to her when she was 13. The year after that Sunny passed away, sadly, I decided, you know, I'm going to honor Sunny and I'm going to call Hope Arellano. She's going to be 14 and I have faith in her.
In 2017, I was asked to play my first U.S. Women's Open. It was really the first time that I had ever gotten to play a high goal women's tournament.
I talked to her father and her mother. I said, do you think she could do this? Do you think she'd be able to handle it? Will you guys be there for her? Can you bring the horses for her? And they said yes.
I felt like there was a lot of the unknown. And I remember the first practice I went out there and I was a little nervous, and they gave me all the confidence in the world, and I felt like they helped me to play better.
Hope had a handicap of 3 goals, which was incredible because a lot of women, a lot of talented women spend their entire career just trying to get to 2 or 3. But here's Hope, just 14 years old, and she was just unstoppable.
And we won that tournament against tough competition. And we won that game. I mean, the last goal was Hope putting it in. She put the last goal in the winning goal. And she didn't flinch at the age of 14. She was cool as a block of ice. That's the first time that Leah Salwood won the Women's U.S. Open. She was over the moon. And of course, it was the first time for Hope, and I think she's the youngest person to ever do it.
I was so lucky to be able to score that winning goal. It meant a lot, and my parents here were amazing. My mom and dad my mom held the spare, and my dad helped coach, and it was just awesome to have them both here, and it was just a great opportunity that I had so much fun.
I never thought of myself being the youngest one in the tournament, you know. I felt like every game I had to play to the best of my capability and try to, you know, get better each game, and definitely a tournament that I will remember forever as it was my first women's Open.
I'll never forget that. I'll always have that memory with Hope that we honored Sunny. Since then, Hope Arellano has continued to grow, continued to improve, continued to work hard. Her family helps her brothers, her father, her mother. Her mother drives that trailer for her to the games. I always see, there goes Megan. And listen, Megan was carrying Hope. She was pregnant playing women's polo, or any kind of polo. So as far as I'm concerned, Hope's been playing polo before she was even born.
She was in the finals of a women's tournament, and her doctor said, okay, that's enough, like no more playing. And she was in the finals, so she's like, I'm gonna play my one last game, you know? And so she did, and they ended up winning the tournament, and everyone joked that there was 5 girls on the team, they cheated, but no, she was. So I always say I've been playing basically my whole life.
Hope was always really talented with sports. I mean, anything she did. She played tennis, and the tennis coach, I remember specifically him being like, I won't charge you guys anything, I just want her to go pro. And my family was like, oh my God, Hope, please, please. And she was like, no, I like horses.
My parents were a little bit hesitant. They were like, no, you sure you don't want to play tennis or pick a different profession? But I fell in love with polo, and they supported me 100%. I mean, they could not be more supportive.
We kind of grew up traveling, following the sun. My dad was a professional polo player, so my mom took care of us, and we followed him around as he played.
Julio Arellano is one of the best American polo players in the world, and he's won every major polo tournament. So he's just incredibly respected in the polo community, as he should be. And then, of course, you have Hope's mom, who's this former polo player, and she's on the sideline of every single one of Hope's games.
I mean, I admire her so much. You know, she's definitely taught me how to love for an animal, and you know, she's the rock for our entire family. She's definitely my best friend. I mean, we do everything together.
We joke that they're still connected by the umbilical cord because they're just best friends. I mean, my mom and Hope have this incredible bond. I mean, we were all so close. My mom and Hope, I mean, it's just I don't know, they're like mom and daughter, sisters, best friends, all in one. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Her parents just created this really loving environment for her to go after her dreams. And when Hope was 12 years old, she ends up competing in an adult tournament and just surprises everyone.
We were able to play a 12 goal at the Pete Bostwick Memorial. The team was myself, my 2 older brothers, and my dad. And it was the first time we had all 4 gone to play together.
We played and ended up just winning all of our games and won the whole tournament.
Honestly, we couldn't believe it. We had entered just to be able to have done it together and to have that experience. It was really the first time that we all had big roles on a team, and you know, it was a neat experience all around.
That tournament really helped launch her career, because then just 2 years later, she wins the US Open Women's Polo Championship with Dawn Jones, and she really just kind of starts making this name for herself that's different than her father's legacy. Then she starts traveling to Argentina to play in the Women's Argentine Open. She was invited to go to Argentina when she was just 18 years old, and she starts playing in the highest rated women's polo tournament in the world. She places 3rd at the Women's Argentine Open, but in the process, she raises her women's outdoor handicap to 8 goals, and at that time, she becomes the highest rated female American polo player in the world. It's really just wild to look back at all that she accomplished at such a young age, because truly the best was yet to come.
Good sportsmanship is about respect. Respecting your team, respecting your opponent, respecting the game. And now, it's about respecting the environment. US Polo ASSN and 4Ocean are working together to keep our oceans clean. Discover how you can play your part at uspoloassnglobal.com/4Ocean. Live authentically.
2022 was a really big year for polo, because the 5th World Polo Championship was being hosted on American soil at the USPA National Polo Center in Florida. I mean, in baseball, you have the Baseball World Classic. In soccer, you have the FIFA World Cup. In polo, it's the 5th World Polo Championship. There were 15 countries that competed in the tournament, but only 8 advanced to the finals, and USA was one of those teams. The last time the United States won the 5th World Polo Championship was back in 1989, and actually Julio Arellano was on that team. He was just 16 years old when he won the world title. There are so many talented players, so no one really knew who the association was going to select to try out for the USA team.
Last winter, when they had called me to even try out in itself, I was so excited, and when I went to try out, I just wanted to go play my best, go for it. I never had expected to even make the short list. And then I had heard that I had made the team, and so it was amazing.
Hope doesn't think of herself as a female polo player. She thinks of herself as a polo player, but it still didn't change the fact that she became the first female to be selected to play on the USA team for the FIP World Polo Championship. And she was super excited because her brother, Agustin, also made the team.
Yeah, just to be selected, honestly, was incredible. It was like humbling. I was so excited because obviously it's something that I think every polo player wants to do, is like compete for their country.
The association also selected Julio to be the coach of the USA team. So it really just added to the excitement of this really young but talented team. The 4 players who ended up making the official team was Agustin Arellano, Jake Klentner, and brothers Nico and Lucas Escobar. Hope was essentially an alternate, but she was still considered part of the team. So with Hope watching on the sideline, USA won their opening match against Australia, and eventually they made it to the semifinals. But right before the semifinal match, USA learned that their teammate Jake Klentner was unable to compete in the rest of the tournament. So everyone knew what that meant for Hope.
In the semifinals, I was able to play, and we had to play against Argentina, which was an incredible team.
Argentina was not only the defending champion of the tournament, but they've won more world titles than any other country. At this point in the competition too, USA had played 3 games together without Hope. So Hope was coming into this game not only about to take on the defending champion, but she hadn't really played with her team up until this point.
Hope came in on like kind of difficult circumstances to just like jump into a semifinal game.
Definitely you go into it knowing that that's going to be probably your hardest game. We had gone into it saying, okay guys, this is our finals. You know, if we don't win this, we don't qualify for the finals. This is it, you know? So we had gone into it knowing we were going to leave everything on the field and just really try our best.
I knew, I played so much with Hope. I was like, I know that if I show like a 100% like unwavering trust in her, my teammates are going to feel the same. So I remember like the first play of the game, like I just like took off for a pass from Hope, and she like right there, right to my mallet. And it was like from then on, everybody started trusting her too.
We had gone into overtime. We were able to pull it off. And no, I think honestly, we couldn't believe it.
He got it, that's it. U.S. is going to the finals. I can't believe it. What a goal, Lucas Escobar. Was that Nico?
And it was just incredible. I mean, she came in and like pretty much defied the odds, like played incredible, being the first woman to ever play the World Cup. I was like, Hope, I don't know if you realize the legacy that you're leaving for these little girls that get to watch and like have never seen somebody do that. I was like, you've like just shattered the glass ceiling. You know what I mean? You're like leaving this road for girls to follow that like didn't have any sort of representation or anybody to like look up to. And I think it's pretty incredible to like watch and like see her do that.
When we went into the finals, we had all said like, you know, let's just give it our all, obviously, but have fun, enjoy this moment, that it's something that to represent your country in itself is amazing. And to represent it at home is even more incredible, you know?
It was such a back and forth game. Hope actually scored though to put USA up 2 goals, but in overtime, Spain ended up winning.
In the end, Spain won, and they were an amazing team. And to be able to experience that with my older brother, Augustine, was really, really special. And having my dad as my coach was amazing, just because, you know, obviously it gave me a sense of comfort, you know, growing up with him and having him and knowing that when I was playing, it was one less thing to think about, because when I come in, I understand everything that he wants to tell me.
She is so humble. She is so strong and determined and disciplined, and like to be able to go and do that with the boys, like she doesn't bat an eye. I mean, she just goes out there like she's one of us, and I really am so proud to be her brother.
The FIP World Polo Championship was really right at the end of 2022, so right around the corner was the 2023 winter polo season. Hope was 19 years old. She was an 8-goal player. So at the beginning of the season, it was just kind of like, is this the year that Hope Arellano becomes 10 goals? In the middle of the 2023 winter polo season, you have the US Open Women's Polo Championship. It's the same tournament that Hope won when she was just 14 years old. For the last couple years, the tournament has been held at the National Polo Center in Florida. It's really this kind of premier destination for polo.
The grandstands are accommodating. It's a great venue. You've got the, Mallet Grill, the whole, club. It really is a remarkable spot there to host events and to watch a game.
It's where all of the top polo players in the world come to compete. So it's not that it was surprising that there was such a talented field for the 2023 Women's Open. It just kind of felt like no matter who won it, they were going to solidify their legacy in the sport.
You're on the field, you're playing against Hazel Jackson and Hope Arellano, and you look on the sidelines and see Nina Clarkin watching your game. You're like, oh, we're here. We made it.
Hope Arellano was on Team LaFay with one of the only female 10-goalers in the world, Hazel Jackson, and 5-goal American polo player Pamela Flanagan and Winnie Branscombe. Hope and LaFay ended up making it to the semifinals where they had to face Dawn Jones and San Saba. And for Dawn, it's just so wild because here you have this former 14-year-old that you took under your wing because of Sunny Hale, and now she's actually competing against you to try to make it to the finals. So kind of this full circle moment for Dawn, but Hope actually ends up defeating San Saba and Dawn in the semifinals to punch their ticket to the US Open Women's Polo Championship. In the final, LaFay went up against Dundas, and the whole game was Hope.
Hope down in front. Here she goes, Hope in the red zone. Can she get it done? Oh, look at that. What a goal. What a shot. Look at this. She peels off to go get on another horse because she knows that one's going through the post. Arellano, she's right there in the goal now. She's going to take her shot. She's going to send it on through and give her team a 2-goal lead. She is just playing absolutely lights out polo here today. What a game this turns out to be.
Hope ended up scoring 6 goals in the win, and she was named the MVP, and she was just kind of on top of the world in that moment, but you would never know because she's just one of the most humble people you'll ever meet.
No, it's amazing, honestly, and to play with Pam, Winnie, and Hazel is, it's absolutely incredible. Hazel's been one of my idols for forever.
A couple of months after Hope won the Women's Open, the news finally broke, and the association announced that by the end of 2023, Hope Arellano would become the first female American polo player since Sunny Hale to have a women's outdoor handicap of 10 goals.
Hope won't brag about herself, but I definitely will brag for her. I think she's incredible, and she's my hero. To be able to go, and she doesn't think about it at all. You're right. She literally just goes and does it just because she wants to and she can.
Hope Arellano has continued to maintain her poise and her determination to become a pro. I support her 100% any way I can, but it doesn't seem like I have to do much for her because she's already doing it. I can just sit back and look and smile and think about that call that Sunny made to me when she was 13. It's like, Dawn, we got to get this kid in here. She's awesome. She'll be amazing on the field. You won't believe it. She's the next 10-goal women's player. I've had some interesting moments just on my own, by myself on a horse at the ranch in San Saba, and suddenly Sunny just enters my mind like that. It's as powerful as if she were sitting right there with me on a horse next to me.